two or three more questions. Mr. Bowden, how much time would be required for the payment processing industry to change its system to effectively implement new reporting requirements?
We've held several meetings with that, and our ranges are very extreme. The amount of time for us to do this will be significant. To put a specific number to it, Madam Chairwoman, it is difficult for us to do. The thing that is absolutely certain to us is that it will come at the cost of other product innovation and offering better, more efficient services for consumers and merchants to get consumers to pay, and that's a reality for us, is that we will have to stop much of the innovation in the industry in order to seek compliance.
Ms. Dubna, yes. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, we were looking. When this originally came out in 2006, we talked to some of our IT folks, and we have about 10 platforms throughout the country that we process from, and they were estimating that just to link the 10 to the, instead of the first data ID, like I mentioned earlier, that it would take about 3,000 man-hours for each system. And that's, again, not even taking into account the errors and all of that once it's implemented.
Mr. McCracken, what should be done to ensure that businesses with a high volume of small dollar transactions do not face excessive administrative burdens to reconcile their information reports with their books and records?
I'm not sure there is an easy solution aside from not doing this. And I think that's the very real danger that you have in moving this forward. If you have, especially people who do a lot of small transactions, who are bent on being tax cheats and they don't want to report their income, and you decide to do this, I mean, all you've done is create incentives for them to move to cash and either set an amount, like a lot of merchants already do, of a minimum of $15, $20, $25 to accept credit cards, or not to accept credit cards at all. And you've moved those businesses from at least having some credit card data collection, which if there is an audit, the IRS can go get that data and prove that those transactions occurred. Instead, you've moved those businesses to an entirely cash basis in many cases. So if there is, and there's a very small minority of companies that don't want to report all their income, but they do exist, and by doing this, you've created yet less of an ability to track what they're really doing and what income is actually going to their business.
Thank you. Ms. Darien, like always happen, do you think that it is reasonable to assume that the additional costs associated with these new reporting requirements will be passed along from banks and processors to merchants?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, I have no doubt that will be the case. I mean, they're a business as well. I mean, and you're going to see that a lot of these fees or costs of compliance will be passed on to small businesses. And what will likely happen is either they will, as Todd had mentioned, no longer take credit cards and move specifically to a cash economy, or either raise their prices for their customers, which will just hurt them in the end. And again, I think you'll see a huge deterrence from people going into businesses that such as retail, where you almost have to take credit cards in order to stay in business. So yes, I definitely think the cost will be passed on to small business.
Okay, thank you. And again to Ms. Darien, officials from the IRS concede that extraneous economic data will be necessary to make the information reported on business card reimbursement useful. Does the IRS already have this type of information, or will it be necessary to acquire this data from another source?
I'm not quite sure what data they're seeking. We take the position that information can be a good thing. It's the way you go about doing it. As mentioned, there are simple ways that we can use the system we have in place, the forms we have in place, to acquire additional data that might help them take a look or just get a better accurate figure on the quote-unquote tax gap. I don't know if they will seek, again, and this is the perfect proposal, going to other companies that have a whole host of data on merchants in hopes of getting additional data. I'm not quite sure if they'll go in that direction.